We begin today's wrestling news and rumors video with a developing story in the WWE's women's division, as former Raw Women's Champion Sasha Banks has put out a subtle teaser regarding a possible opponent for the company's upcoming all-women's Evolution 2 pay-per-view event later this year, with Sasha Banks revealing that her dream opponent for such an event would be Trish Stratus. As we have reported in some of our previous videos, Vince McMahon has expressed great interest in finding a way to bring Trish Stratus back to the WWE for another big match, with there previously being rumors that Stratus may have returned at SummerSlam 2020, and according to one of our sources, McMahon is legitimately considering having Trish Stratus return for Evolution 2 later this year, to take on Sasha Banks, who will likely be the SmackDown Women's Champion at the time after winning her feud against former best friend Bayley. We have been told that one of the reasons why the WWE put off holding their Evolution 2 pay-per-view event up to this point was due to the fact that Vince felt there wasn't enough star power to make the show seem monumental or special in the eyes of fans, with the big-name superstars like Becky Lynch and now Charlotte Flair being out of action. But McMahon now apparently believes that bringing back a few legends for the event, such as Trish Stratus, will make Evolution 2 a must-see event. So in all likelihood, Sasha Banks versus Trish Stratus for the SmackDown Women's Championship is actually a very probable match for the Evolution 2 card, with Sasha most likely to get the win considering Trish has no interest in working more than one match at a time every now and then. Another big story in regards to the women's division is related to the movement that has been going on with fans on social media showing support for former SmackDown Women's Champion Naomi, with the Naomi Deserves Better social media campaign. And apparently, Vince McMahon and other backstage officials have gotten wind of the strong desire from fans to see Naomi getting the opportunity she deserves after continuously being booked in a lackluster and oftentimes downright terrible way. And according to one of our sources, the WWE are planning on giving Naomi a big push in the near future as a result. While it's still unknown when Naomi's big push is rumored to actually happen, one source mentioned that it's very likely that Naomi would be Sasha Banks' next challenger for the SmackDown Women's Championship after the Trish Stratus match at Evolution 2, and fans should not be too surprised if Naomi is given another reign as a SmackDown Women's Champion because of all her fans speaking up on her behalf to the WWE, and by all means this is certainly an opportunity that Naomi has worked hard for and deserves. Ever since the news came to light regarding Goldberg's contract status with the WWE, and that Bill is shockingly signed to the company for a few more years, most fans have been very curious as to the timeline of when we can expect to see the former Universal Champion back in the ring, and for what opponent or storyline. And apparently, Vince McMahon is planning for Goldberg to make his return early next year for the 2021 Royal Rumble event, with McMahon apparently wanting Goldberg to be a key superstar involved in the build-up to WrestleMania 37. So surprisingly enough, we have been told that backstage officials view Goldberg as one of the favorites to potentially win next year's Men's Royal Rumble match, along with other favorites like Keith Lee. While Goldberg is the furthest thing from a full-time talent, one source mentioned that Vince still believes Goldberg is one of the biggest draws the WWE still have at their disposal, and as of right now, current backstage rumors indicate that Goldberg will likely somehow be involved in one of the major title feuds heading into next year's Showcase of the Immortals, so it's clear that Goldberg hasn't touched his last world title in WWE. Make sure you guys let us know if you think Goldberg should be one of the front runners to win next year's Men's Royal Rumble match, and possibly win back one of the company's 2 world titles. Or do you believe Goldberg's days as a main event attraction should be over, and the company should instead utilize Goldberg's few matches per year to put over up-and-coming superstars, or just be involved in big non-title storylines? Following this past weekend's Payback pay-per-view event and the addition of Monday Night Raw that soon came after, it's clear the WWE are planning for Seth Rollins and his disciple Murphy to split up soon, with current backstage rumors indicating that Seth Rollins will now be moving on from his feud against Rey and Dominic Mysterio to Buddy Murphy for the foreseeable future, with a match between Rollins and Murphy likely to be announced for the upcoming Clash of Champions 2020 pay-per-view event next week on Raw. While there are many fans who are excited to see Seth Rollins become a solo competitor once again, according to one of our sources, the reason for Seth Rollins and Murphy breaking up their partnership is due to the fact that Rollins has recently asked Vince for some time off in the near future to be able to spend more time with his wife Becky Lynch as she progresses with her pregnancy, and wants to be there for Becky when she needs him. And also due to the fact that Rollins is reportedly a bit worn out from WWE, and needs a break to recuperate and come back stronger and fresh once Becky Lynch has their baby later this year. Apparently, Vince has agreed to giving Seth Rollins Rollins an extended break from WWE, and we have been told that this means that Buddy Murphy will likely be picking up the win over Seth Rollins at Clash of Champions 2020, with Seth then disappearing from TV afterwards until later this year. But as we will discuss next, the WWE reportedly have a huge plan they are considering to move ahead with, and it involves Seth Rollins following his return from his break. We now have our main story featured in this video, and it is regarding Vince McMahon's and the WWE's absolutely huge rumored plans for a new Universal Champion, the big dog Roman Reigns. There's no doubt that the entire wrestling community has been buzzing and talking non-stop about Roman Reigns following his return at SummerSlam 2020, and then his alliance with Paul Heyman on the following edition of Friday Night SmackDown, which marked Reigns' official heel turn, and then a surprise Universal title win over Braun Strowman and The Fiend Bray Wyatt at Payback 2020, and more specifically regarding what the WWE's plans are for the direction of Roman Reigns throughout the fall months of 2020 and into the new year. According to one of our sources, while Roman Reigns is currently performing for the Blue brand, we have been told that the WWE are planning their Superstar Shakeup very soon, with one source mentioning that Vince is secretly planning for Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, and the Universal Championship to move over to Monday Night Raw, with Drew McIntyre then getting drafted over to Friday Night SmackDown with the WWE Championship, basically the way it was just last year in 2019 during Kofi Kingston's run as a WWE Champion. Apparently, with Roman Reigns moved to Raw, backstage WWE officials are planning to change the color of the Universal title from blue back to red to match the Raw brand. However, the real interesting and intriguing rumor certainly goes well beyond the fact that Roman Reigns will reportedly be heading over to Raw with the Universal title, because a new backstage rumor has revealed that Vince is strongly considering to move ahead with the idea of the new monstrous heel Roman Reigns creating a brand new and improved version of the Shield faction on Raw, with the rumor stating that Vince has recently quietly changed his mind about Roman Reigns leading the Retribution faction, and McMahon would instead rather have Reigns form a new dominant Shield on Raw, and we have been told that the new members would consist of Paul Heyman as the manager, the Universal Champion Roman Reigns, a returning Seth Rollins after his break from WWE, and Brock Lesnar once he finally signs his new deal with the company. Only Brock Lesnar's involvement with the new Shield would reportedly be very temporary, and would only happen to begin with because of Paul Heyman begging Brock Lesnar to get along with his new client Roman Reigns. But the storyline would then head in the direction of Brock Lesnar turning on his Shield brothers and Paul Heyman, and setting his sights on Roman's Universal title for WrestleMania 37. Make sure you guys let us know your thoughts on Vince potentially planning a new monstrous Shield faction for Roman Reigns when he moves over to Raw, and do you like the storyline idea of Brock being a part of the new Shield temporarily to draw big ratings for Monday Night Raw, before eventually turning on Reigns, Heyman, and Rollins, and then trying to win back the Universal title? Make sure you sound off in the comment section down below, and do give us your thoughts and opinions on the matter.